Hi everybody, my name is Kim and welcome back to Bookmarks and Breadsticks. Hey everyone, I'm here today to bring you a list of 9 amazing food books that are special topics that focus on one single food. Have you ever been interested in the history of Fluff and Udder? Well, I've got a book for you. This is Mimi Graney's Fluff, and it is the history of Fluff and Udder, and it comes from the New England area. I have a full review on my channel for this in my sweet series. This is a delightfully sticky sweet story of an American icon, and I highly recommend you guys read it. It's just shy of 200 pages and really fun. So second book on this list would be Save the Deli by David Sachs. If you ever wanted to learn about American delis, this is the book for you, but warning, you will always be hungry. But this is a book that Dan, my husband, and I read together a little bit each night. It took maybe a year to read because we were reading it at night, but it is so delightful. It makes me a huge fan of David Sachs. It makes me want to visit delis all over the world, all over the United States, and it is just a delight to read. Next up is American Cheese by Joe Berkowitz. I also have a full review on this book as well. If you ever wanted to learn about the artisan cheese world and artisan cheese specifically grown in the United States, produced in the United States, this is really fun. I listened to it as an audiobook with Dan, and it has really made us huge cheese snobs, if I wasn't already a cheese snob. It is so much fun. And the fact that Joe Berkowitz is a comedian by trade, he's an editor and staff writer for the Fast Company. Not only is this thorough and it has that element of investigative journalism, it flows so well. And the fact that he recognizes he was just a Joe Schmo, pun, but a Joe Schmo who didn't know anything about cheese and then just fell face first into the cheese world made it really relatable. There's a whole conversation about Colby Jack cheese, and I was like, I love Colby Jack cheese. I'm an uncultured swine. It was so much fun. I couldn't not mention The Sugar Season. This is the fall book for the Read It and Eat subscription box by Douglas Wynot. But I'll admit, I didn't know a lot about how modern day maple syrup is made in the United States, and this was a really good read. It definitely can get a little confusing at some parts, but it's very thorough. It really talks about everything from supply chain to the impact of global warming. So think about maple syrup and how it one day could be a rare commodity due to the weather changes in the New England and Canadian areas. Next up is Sweet Spot by Amy Ettinger. If you're looking for a more sweet history, I highly recommend this book. This was the summer pick for the Read It and Eat subscription box, but this is all about an ice cream binge across America. And the book doesn't cover just ice cream. It does talk about the difference between ice cream, gelato, custard, and so on. I am very biased. I work in ice cream. I work for Halo Top, so it is part of my life 24/7, 365 days of the year, but I am always interested in learning about ice cream. I cannot wait till a book about vegan and plant-based ice cream comes out, because that is, and I don't mean just recipes, but it's a huge movement and it's a very complicated world to understand. Who knows, maybe that's what I will write about one day. It wouldn't be a micro history or special topics kind of list if I didn't mention Mark Kerlansky. Mark Kerlansky loves to write. He's a micro history expert about different areas of the world, including food. My favorite book by Kerlansky to date is Salt, a global history, a world history of salt, but he does have other books including Cod, Bird's Eye, which is the history of the inventor of the Bird's Eye frozen vegetables, and many more. So Salt is definitely a doozy. It's definitely not the first book I would recommend if you are new to the food history space. Maybe start with something lighter like Fluff or The Sugar Season, but he is one of the pillars of this space. It wouldn't be right if I didn't mention Mark Kerlansky. Next up is a book called Tomatoland by Barry Estabrook. Now this isn't as much a food history, but it is a special topic, and it really focuses on how modern industrial agriculture destroyed our most alluring fruit. Tomatoes are fruits, first off. They always will be. But what I liked about Tomatoland is not only does it focus on tomatoes, but it focuses specifically on Floridian tomatoes. And a lot of the modern day slavery and really terrible things that are happening behind the scenes. I mean, I don't love that terrible things are happening, but it was one of my favorite books of 2020. Wow, I almost said 2022. COVID's really messed up my brain. This was one of my favorite books last year. It's very thorough. It's very powerful. It gave me an emotional reaction to a book about tomatoes, guys. I highly recommend this book. 2 books left. So the next whole topic book I would recommend is The Land Where Lemons Grow. I read this through the Kitchen and Letter Arts Book Club, and this is all about Helena Adderley. She travels all over Europe to really learn about lemons and the fact that there are thousands of varieties of lemons and other citrus fruits, but they all stem back to like 3 unique mother fruits and where they come from in the world. It's really fascinating. It's not the fastest read, or at least for me it wasn't, but the other ladies at the book talk raved and loved it. There's really fun recipes in here that I would actually try. So the author focuses on Italian citrus, and there's a lot of history around this Italian citrus, and I love that the original mafia stems from lemons. Like, it is all lemon farmers and lemon production. It's all their fault that the mafia exists today. There's so much fun stuff to read in here. I really recommend it. I definitely think that the other ladies of the book club loved it more than me, but the fact that I learned that there's 3 mother citrus fruits and that the mafia stemmed from lemon production, already worth reading the book, because those are 2 fun facts I can now bring up in any conversation. And the final book on this list is The Truffle Underground. This is a tale of mystery, mayhem, and manipulation in the shadowy market of the world's most expensive fungus by Ryan Jacobs. So you want to talk about mafia or mobs and gangsters again, truffles are definitely part of it. There's an illegal truffle ring in here. And really, it's a thrilling journey through the hidden underworld of the world's most prized luxury ingredient. So Ryan Jacobs began this investigation when he worked for The Atlantic, and it turned into a full expose. And it's interesting because I will admit that when I first tried truffles, I was not impressed. I didn't understand. I was like, okay, great. And this book it's so thorough, and you really respect the truffle hunters and how they work so hard to even breed the right kinds of dogs to find the truffles, and why it originally started with pigs and they moved to dogs because the pig will actually eat the truffle and the dog knows to just gently maw on it almost so that they can preserve as much as possible. And that truffle farmers, the truffles where they grow, it's almost random. It is not like a seed you can plant. It really has to do with the connection and the networks underground, because it's a fungus, and how it connects to the trees. And some trees, the wars between different truffle farmers, lighting other people's forests and lands on fire. It's intense. It's a really, really interesting book. I would love something like a Chef's Table episode about it. There's actually an episode of Top Chef in not the most recent season, I guess, but in the second season of All Stars, season 19, where they actually got to experience on camera, truffle hunting, and it was I really recommend you guys just go watch that snippet at least. It's very fascinating. Okay, so those are 9 unique special topics or books all about the history of one ingredient. If you're looking for recommendations, if you just go, Kim, I really want to know about the history of pasta, for example, hit me up in the comments below, and I'm happy to create more recommendation lists like this one. And on your way down to the comments, don't forget to hit like and subscribe. I post new content every Tuesday and Saturday, and I am always excited to see what you guys are interested in learning about in the food writing space. I hope you're well. Wear a mask, get your booster for your vaccine if you can. Just be good to each other, okay? I'll see you in the next one. Bye.